Hey guys, Farmer Jesse here. Today I just want to give you a little quick rundown of how we here at Rough Draft Farmstead start our seeds. What do you say? Let's do it. So we do a few different things. I'm hanging out in my greenhouse. I'm about to start tomatoes. We do tomatoes with soil blocks, and I'll demonstrate that in a second. With the soil block maker, starting with this fine stuff here, which is just a potting mix that we make ourselves, and I'll show a little video of that. We also do these. These are these interesting little trays that are similar to what's called wind strips, and they actually let the plant air prune. I don't have to go into all that. Essentially, it doesn't let the roots just wind around the plant a bunch. These are also kind of similar, but they do not air prune, so they do allow for a little bit of winding, and that's cell trays, and we're doing some bunching onions here. All that just came out of our germination chamber. So anyway, I'm gonna do a really quick demo on how to do soil blocks. All right, so first things first, you have to make your potting mix, or you have to acquire your potting mix. A nice fine potting mix is gonna be the best. It doesn't have a lot of chunks in it. We use organic potting mix. We actually make our own, which is, the process is essentially taking some peat moss, mixing that with some compost, and then you're gonna add a few amendments, some nitrogen, some phosphorus, and some potassium. And you're also going to, you're gonna add a little bit of lime, and you're gonna mix it all together with a little bit of perlite for aeration. You can also use sand. There's a recipe for this in Elliot Coleman's The New Organic Grower, and that's the best source for following the recipe. So we do that, and then whenever you are ready to make your soil blocks, you have to acquire a soil block maker, obviously, which is what this is. So that is a 2-inch soil block maker, and that's what we're gonna use to start our tomatoes in. You can also start them in mini blocks and move them to a 2-inch block. We don't do that. We don't really see the necessity. We've always had good germination otherwise, so we don't really worry with that. So the first step is to wet the soil, and you gotta get it pretty wet. Well, I already did that part, but I'm gonna show you how that looks. So this is almost too wet on the corner, but that's fine because that's the downhill side. You want it about like this, where you're squeezing water out of it, so it can take the form pretty quickly, but also not be like this where it's mush. You know, you want it to have a little bit of form, and you can always squeeze a little of the moisture out as you work. So I'm going to show you how that goes, and we're going to do a tray of soil blocks. All right, so I've got my first tray here. I've got my soil block maker, and I've also got a bucket of water to kind of act as a lubrication. And I'm just going to use the side of this wheelbarrow, push all the soil into these spots like that, pack it in there nice and tight, scrape off the side, and then push it down. And it already has the dibbles in it, so what I'm going to do is put a seed in there. And then depending on what it is, like if it's lettuce, I'll just lightly cover it. For tomatoes, I'm gonna fully cover it. And that varies by seed, but for the most part, a fairly light covering is pretty sufficient. Yeah, so I'll do a little time lapse of that, and you can see me do all these trays real quick. And that's about it. If you guys like this video, please like this video. Also make sure to subscribe to the channel and share it with your friends. If you have any questions about how soil blocking works, why we use it, or anything like that, hit us up in the comments and we'll let you know. Otherwise, you guys have a great week. We got a lot of plants to start, so we'll see you all later. Bye.